good? It's not my committee. Gentlemen, thank you. Welcome to 2018 Techniques Clinic. Much appreciated. The weather was very bad. A lot of people have had issues coming in. For everybody that's here, and on behalf of my staff, I want to thank you. All right, let me introduce myself. First of all, my name is Joe Solomon, Frank Milanese, Dan Doherty, Justin Perry, and Ralph Argento, who had some issues with work and the storm and stuff. He's not able to be here today. Just to give you an overview of what's going to happen today, there's going to be 2 stations, right? In here in the gym is going to be plate work, calling balls and strikes, and mechanics behind the plate. Inside the dome is going to be base work, all right? A position, B position, C position, how you communicate with your partner, and any questions that might come up, we're going to try to cover as many areas as we can, okay? Each station is going to be about 45 minutes, guys, maybe a little less, a little more, depending. We don't have as many people because of the storm, but we still have a nice turnout, okay? First, let me address Umpire your appearance, right? These are the accepted uniforms, all right? There's also a light blue, right? Light blue shirt. The pants can be heather gray or charcoal, all right? If you wear dark blue, the jacket should be tucked in, all right? Red shirt underneath. If you have gray pants with the black shirt, it's a black undershirt. I believe the state allows white. I happen to think that black on black looks better, okay? The white with the contrast, that's a personal preference. Some guys say in the summertime it gets so hot. Gentlemen, in the summertime you're wearing black anyway, and it's a short sleeve shirt. I don't think that white t-shirt underneath is going to make that much of a difference. I don't think you're going to lose 6 pounds wearing a black undershirt, okay? So those are the accepted uniforms. As far as the way your uniform should look, it should always be pressed, right? We don't want our gear, we don't want our uniform or our gear to look shoddy, a crease in your pants. I happen to like with my hat, it's called a crease or a crown, all right? It's a nice look, guys, all right, as opposed to that bubble look, all right? We wear our hat this way, gentlemen, right? We wear our hat this way. I'm going to say that again. We wear our hat this way. You will never catch me in an umpire meeting. You will never catch me on the field. You will never catch me in the parking lot with my umpire hat on backwards. We want to look professional, all right? Even if the coaches don't, okay? What they do is on them. What we do is on us. We're responsible for us. We look neat. We look professional, all right? Your shoes, right? Shine them, right? These are very inexpensive, these little sponges, right? You can get them in a dollar store. They're great for a quick shine. You should also brush the dirt off your shoes after a game, okay? I keep from the dollar store, I get a cheap brush. That's like a scrub brush. Takes the mud right off the bottom. You can also use that brush to brush the mud off your pants, all right? You should have what we call mudders. What mudders, M-U-D-D-E-R-S. What mudders are is you're not top stuff. You go to a game, it's raining, right? The field's not so good, but you're going to play. If you're behind the plate and it's clay, you're going to get that all on the bottom of your pants. Very hard to get out, right? Guys that have done this for a while, right? So mudders shouldn't be all shaggy. Shouldn't be all ripped, holes in your pants. But it's like a second pair of pants. It's a backup pair of pants, okay? I have a second pair of cleats that I wear, all right? You should have, because if they get soaked, right? Anybody that's done a game in the rain, you'll be lucky if they're dry the next day. You can put newspapers in them, you can do whatever you wish to do. So I have a second pair of those. Plate shoes, most of us only have 1 pair. I happen to have 2, but whatever it is, clean it off, and you do the best you can, okay? Appearance is important. The minute you walk out of the parking lot, people are watching you. Understand, gentlemen? We're good, right? Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is umpire etiquette. And what umpire etiquette is, you probably didn't find this in many books, is you're expected to act a certain way, all right? The coach can be a jerk to a point. Everybody understand what I just said? The coach could be a jerk. Got it, guys? Heard me, right? To a point. What can he do? Can't curse, right?
Personal.
Can't curse. I don't let a coach show me up. If a coach comes to you and wants an explanation, That's up to you whether you want to give it to him back. You discuss it with your partner how you're going to handle that, right? One of the techniques that I've been taught over the years is I give the coach a little bit of leeway, and when I've had enough, coach, you made your point. Everybody understand? Coach, you made your point. Now I'm telling you as the coach, head coach, or if it's an assistant coach, if something happened that you have to deal with the assistant coach, coach, you made your point. He crosses that line, then you have to do something. If he crosses the line and it's severe enough, he curses you, right? He's gone, right? You can restrict him to the dugout, right? That's one of the options, everybody understand, right? And you can toss it. If it's severe enough, you can toss it, okay? Understand something, there's three teams out there, right? There's the offense, there's the defense, and there's us. We're the best team out there. And I'm not saying that to sound conceited, but I'm saying that because we as umpires can't afford to have the leeway that the coaches and the players have. A baseball player, a hitter, is good if he's right 3 out of 10 times, 300 average. You as an umpire can't be right 3 out of 10 times. Understand? 3 out of 10 for us is terrible. Many years ago, Major League Baseball did a study on the bang bang play at first, and this is before replay, and it's been done every year since. That bang bang at first, and they don't have the luxury of instant replay right away, 95%, close to 95% of the time, out of thousands and thousands of plays that they have every year, they get that right. There is no sport that I know of where a guy's good 95% of the time. Not basketball, not, maybe boxing if you want to say that. You got some dude that's really good. But aside from that, all right? Okay. Your pregame. What should be discussed in your pregame, right? So, if you do a game at Dutchess Stadium, or you go over to Boulder and Rockland, you have a room usually. They'll give you a changing room. There might even be a few schools. But for the most part, all of us come to the parking lot, and that in essence becomes our dressing room, right? Right? How many guys really? Almost every game you do here, right? Everybody here, most of the games you do, 90% is in the parking lot, right? So you gotta be a little smart, right? You gotta understand that we still deal with kids. There's cheerleaders, there's a girls softball going on, field hockey and stuff. My suggestion is if you can't change in your car, at least have your pants, drive to the field with your pants on, all right? You just can't, this day and age, believe me, you can't do anything that's deemed improper, all right? While you're in the parking lot, the things you're gonna discuss, right, with your partner, right? First of all, if you have the plate, you're kind of the boss, right? You're going to dictate what's going to be said at the pregame conference, right? You have to discuss what things, guys? Fly ball coverage, right? Tag-ups, interference, and we'll discuss all these at the different stations, right? You're going to discuss if your partner goes out, and something that was brought up at the last meeting, you might have a partner that might have some physical limitations, right? You might work with somebody. If my partner comes to me, Joe, I hurt my leg, I might not be able to do something. You have to know that. Don't be embarrassed. We're all men, right? Do not be embarrassed. If you have a physical ailment that limits something that you might have to do as far as an umpire, just let your partner know. Are we clear, gentlemen? We're clear, right? Okay. The pregame conference, right? You and your partner come up, you're at the plate, right? The plate umpire is going to discuss with the two head coaches, or with the designated head coach, right, if something happens. Is your first thing, is your team properly equipped? And that should be a yes. Okay? Is your team properly equipped? That falls on them. In that is included if they have an AED, a defibrillator on site. All right? That's included in that statement, but for my own personal satisfaction, I like to know where the defibrillator is. And I like to know who the trainer is. All right? That's not a requirement, guys. That's just a personal preference. I like to know who the trainer is, and I like to know where the defibrillator is. Because if they tell me they don't have it, not the trainer, but if they say we don't have a defibrillator, we're not supposed to play. Understand? Everybody understand? All right.
What if they're playing off school grounds? Does that include
So,
it?
when they tell you
Because
it's
they play at a
properly
rec
equipped, just so you know, I coach college guys. We don't need it for the league I have, but my son's the athletic director at Haldane. They travel, most teams, I shouldn't say most, but a fair amount of teams travel with a defibrillator.
They do.
So, a lot of times, the visiting team should have it, all right? It's not your responsibility.
They all have it. You do a hen hunt game, you go to Sunset Field, there's one in the building, my wife's the AT, they all have it.
For you guys that don't know, this is David Griner, all right?
Mark Sherlock. Guys, real quick, a couple housekeeping issues. Men's room is out that door, straight ahead, and I'm not 100% sure, but we're going to be using the room in the back of the dome. There's a men's room that may not be open. If not, that's the one back there. 2, if you haven't already, if you weren't at the meeting earlier in the week, Bob has your packet. Grab it on the way out. 3, most important, Joe's committee, executive board is very appreciative. You know, yesterday was a mess. Some guys are dealing with, you know, the storm kicked a lot of people's asses, the wind. So we appreciate you guys being here. The thought process was that there would be some guys that can get here so we can do what we can do and not have March, the makeup meeting, turn into a, you know, so we can get the most out of it. But nobody's going to lose credit for the meetings based on what Mother Nature did to us yesterday. There's some, you know, poor boy lost his life over in Putt Valley. This was a kick-ass storm. All right. All American is not coming today. They have issues. They will be at the makeup meeting. All right. They sell equipment. They don't sell any of our apparel. They don't sell anything with a patch on it. There's only a couple guys in the States that do that. All right. So Coach Van, the hen hunt varsity coach, has his guys getting loose in the back. Once we're ready to go, Joe will break you up into your stations. Please. Oh, the test. If you weren't at the meeting the other night, the test is online. It's available to take. NFHS.org. All right? Part 1. It is open until the 16th of March. If you can't take it and pass it by the 16th of March, you're going to get blocked out. After the 16th of March, Frank's going to get a report of everybody who took it and hopefully passed it. You do not have to do it in one sitting. All right, it's an online test. It's an open book test. You do not have to do it in one sitting. You can come back to it. But it needs to be done by March 16th. All right, and the thing we always come up against when you go online, make sure you put on the box Westchester. Westchester is the box you need to click on when it asks you what association.
Where it says local association, put in
Westchester. So you have until the 16th to do that. After the 16th, you shit out of luck. Frank will have any kind of information for you. Our next meeting is March 13th. The makeup, obviously for guys that aren't here, that's the interpretation. It's a makeup for intern and technique. So if you didn't make the meeting the other night for the interpret, you got to get there because the coaches already did their interpret. That could be the last one you have. If you don't have an interpret meeting, you can't work. BOCES. Chris Ray's on the shelf. Chris had some spinal surgery. Any questions you have, you're going to God Almighty herself, the Queen. Jen Simmons is covering for Chris. So if you get a call from, but you see, you know, she may call you, Jen Simmons calls you. All right. Jen Simmons is calling you for a game in the next, that's who you're going to hear from. Jen is covering for Chris. So if you get a call from Jen Simmons as far as assigning games, that's who's going to be calling you for work stuff as far as baseball goes. Okay. Laura Pucci's the IT person. She takes care of the IT stuff, the fingerprints. Wanda, you may hear from if you're this guy, but Jen is doing the assignment. Yes. Scrimmages. See Luke Audio, the coaches are starting to get in touch with Luke Audio as far as scrimmages, so see Luke Audio afterwards. If you're in the market for new equipment, All American has a package. We have it. You know, we have their little flyer catalog, you want to grab it on the way out. Any questions regarding anything away from what we're doing this morning? Thank you again for coming. Well, we got Leicester's Upstate Sports. That's who I use. Leicester's Upstate Sports. They're upside in Victor, outside of Rochester.
Let me just finish this.
All right? Let Joe finish up so we can break it up and we can get started.
Real quick, guys. Just one last thing, right? We are dealing with high school kids, right? Sportsmanship, right? You got to emphasize sportsmanship, all right? And there's nothing wrong with complimenting a coach or a kid. Hey son, that was a nice play. If a coach wins a game and his kids play nice, even if they're the losing team, especially if they're a losing team. You got a team that just went out there and this year was discussed as a possibility of mercy rule, right? But there's nothing wrong with telling a losing coach, if his kids acted like gentlemen and showed good sportsmanship, coach, you got a great bunch of kids. Coach, you got a great bunch of kids. You understand? That little sentence. If you're a coach, and I'm a coach, right? And an umpire, it's appreciated. Right? They don't get paid a lot of money. Maybe a few coaches here and there. They don't get paid a lot of money. Some of those guys practice 5 days a week. Some of those kids are going to work that whole year and maybe get a handful of at-bats. Or maybe get 1 inning pitch. It means everything to them. If you're a parent, you know that, right? If you're a parent and you have a son that played ball or a daughter that played ball, somebody showed your kid a little bit of kindness, putting them in the game, you appreciate a nice comment, right? We don't have to all be negative. We don't have to kiss anybody's rear end, right? We act professional, right? And the very last thing is, as umpires, we communicate, right? We're going to stress that in the 2 stations, right? Talk to your partner, get to know what he likes, doesn't like, if he has the limitations, like I said, and never, listen to me, never show up your partner. Does everybody understand what I mean by show up your partner? Everybody understand what I'm saying? Everybody, Jimmy, you got it, right? Everybody, Mike, right? Everybody knows, right? Don't show up your partner. If your partner does something wrong, the time to discuss it is usually after the game, unless there's a safety issue, right? That's different. Safety's always first, okay? Not between innings, right? If there's a controversial call, a bang at first, a tag that maybe somebody just booted the call. If you didn't correct it, don't talk about it between innings. It sends a it shows that like we maybe weren't sure, right? The time to discuss it is after the game. You have your pregame. Sometimes we have to run to another game, but I encourage everybody here, when the game's over, a little post-game. Take 5 minutes with your partner. Discuss what happened in the game. If you had something you're not sure about, mechanics or rules, discuss it. If you can't come up with the right answer, call someone on the board. If it's a rules, call Steve. If it's a techniques question, call me or one of the members of my committee. I want to thank you for your time. Now listen carefully, right? Anybody that's a new student is going to stay at this session first, and the first year student, somebody who did games for the first time last year, will be in here for the first session, about 45 minutes long. Everybody else is going to go in the dome. Gentlemen, I want to thank you. 1 second. Go ahead.
So I have one thing to come up and they're really getting on it left and right. And all of a sudden the coaches now want to say, excuse me, and you get maybe the term with your partner. And what happens is,
Absolutely.
sometimes it's not confirmable. You're much on record. You don't ever confirm.
So, hang on. The question is basically this. Coach is going to pop out. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're going to want you to go for help. Nip it in the bud. All right? Nip it in the bud. All right? There are times when that can be done. We're going to discuss at the stations when your partner is going to come to you for help. All right? Does everybody understand? But my advice to the newer guys is try to nip it in the bud. You don't want to, if the coach gets on you in the first inning and says go to your partner, there's a good chance he's going to do that throughout the game. Everybody understand? If he sees, I don't want to say weak, but he sees that you're gullible, right? It's going to take advantage of it, all right? Nip it in the bud. If it's something that's necessary, a swipe tag or something, coach, stop him, where your partner stops him, whoever it is, right? And we'll take care of it. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Oh, one thing, I'm sorry. The new guys, after you finish the base station later, you need to come back in here for about maybe 20 minutes, okay? First year guys. Thank you.